Okay, let's get started with this week's class. Should be class 6, I think. It's Monday. It's actually Sunday today. The Patriots just lost 9-20, 09, and we're going to start a new project today. This one's going to be a something that I just had to do recently was lay out a field hockey pitch. Not a field, it's a pitch. I think they also refer to soccer as pitch. And we're going to give you the dimensions of this pitch here on this diagram. It's a PDF file you can download from our first class site. I want to take a look at one particular area that we want to be mindful of, and it's some instructions that they put here. It says all measurements shall be made from the inside edge of lines marking boundaries. So we're gonna take that to heart. I would assume it doesn't include the center line. That one will split evenly on either side, but the rest of them will kind of use that as our guideline. So it might be a good idea to print this out. I'll have some copies in the classroom that we can utilize. But this is what we're going to draw today, is the field hockey layout. You'll notice also that this is in both yards and feet. We'll draw our units to the foot dimension, but we're going to actually we may use the yards depending on what's easiest for us, and we're going to dimension it with the dual dimensioning, both yards and feet. So we'll see how that works out for us. So I'll go ahead and minimize this, and we'll go into Microstation. This exercise is probably going to take us both this class and the next class to complete, I hope. We want to be very careful about how we put this together, so we're going to take our time with it. And I'd like you to open up our previous seed file, seed letter mechanical v1, which should be in your seeds directory. So we'll just left click on that and open it up. And in this case, we're going to change our seed file around and actually save it as a different type of seed file, but I think this will work out pretty well for us to get started. This one's going to be 11 by 17 paper, so it's going to be kind of a ledger size. So first of all, let's do our file, save as, and we're going to call this one seed, and we'll just say 11 by 17, 11x17. This will be Civil version 1, and hit save. So now we've still got our models. This one's empty. Let's go to our models tool, and we're going to create a new one. New create model. In other words, up here, open up new, which is the piece of paper with a little star on it. We're going to create a design 2D, and it's going to be called primary model. Full scale, and just say OK. You'll notice now that shows up down here. Now this sheet file says 8.5 by 11. Let's rename that one 11 by 17. You can just kind of click slowly in there to rename the sheet itself. Now if we click on that, and this little hand with the paper says edit model properties, let's go and see if we can do that. We're going to change our sheet name to 11 by 17, and then down here we're going to use an ANSI B cut sheet, which is a single sheet of 11 by 17 paper. So you can see the cut sheet gives us 16.5 by 10.5. If we said just ANSI B, would say 11 by. Let's use the 11 by 17, and then we'll make our border just a little bit smaller. Still full scale. Hit OK. Now if we click on this one, double click it, we'll see now that our border is too small. So let's fix that. First of all, let's go to our reference tool up here at the top. Left click. We're going to take that title block down to here, right about there. You notice the text didn't move because that's part of the active sheet file, so we can just take our selection tool, drag through that information, go to 3-2, move, and just move it roughly into the right space over here. Now you can see our border is still too small. I can get rid of this old reference file because that was from our mechanical stuff. We'll go back to our title block view. There's our border. And what we can do is delete this line and this line. And let's see if we can use the extend line tool, which is 7, 4, extend line. And we'll just left click and we'll say we want that one to be, you notice I'm looking in my AccuDraw window, and I can just move this. I hit the space bar to switch it from distance angle over to XY coordinates. And it's 11, so we'll just say this is going to be 10. I'm going to shift, hold down my left mouse button and pan, and we're going to extend this line. We know we got 17. Let's assume we can print to 15.75. Okay? Now here's a nifty little tool. I don't remember what level we drew this title block in, but if I go to 5, 7 Smart Match and just left click on this line, it automatically puts me in the right level, color, and line weight and style that line was drawn in. Just snap to an endpoint at the end of this line. I'm going to pull it straight up, hit the enter key for my smart lock, find this endpoint, and then this endpoint. So now if we go back to our 11 by 17 sheet view, you'll see that our title block is pretty well onto an 11 by 17 sheet of paper. So we're ready to go there. Let's go back to our primary model, and we're going to go check our working units. Let's go to Settings, Design File, Working Units. And I think probably in this case, let's use feet and inches. So we're going to go MU:SU, because we may need some inches there later on. Our master units are going to be feet. Our subunits are going to be inches. I'm just going to use the foot mark and the inch mark. And we'll say OK. Let's change to our primary level. We'll draw this in white. I'll use line weight 1 just so it shows up a little bit better on the screen. And we'll start with our back line for the field hockey, which is 180 feet. Take our smart line, Q1, just left click and type in 180. It's going to go off the screen probably, but just left click and then right click. And you'll do a fit view. Remember, we're drawing this to the inside dimensions, so the next line we're going to do is the inside of the border, which is going to be 300 feet. So we'll just snap to an endpoint up at the top left hand and type in 300, left click and then right click. So there's the inside dimensions of our pitch, and we can just connect this rectangle, hit the enter key, come down to the bottom, left click, let it snap to this endpoint and left click. Probably should have done that without the elements joined. So if you did that, which you probably did because I did it too, we'll just go destroy that line string and make it line segments by going to 6-1 drop element. You may have to do this a lot, and you want to check off line strings and shapes and just left click here. You see how that entire backwards L shaped selected? Just left click on it one time and then one time left click outside. That one's already separate and that one's already separate. So you see now that's a separate line style. The other thing it said in the description was that all of these lines are 3 inches wide. So we're going to make a copy of these lines. we can just say copy, or you could use the move parallel tool. But we're going to copy these lines. Just left click on this line, bring it to the left, key in :3. And you can actually use the semicolon. You see now what we've got is a 3-inch thick line. And you remember the indexing? See how it remembers that 3-inch? I can just do that to all of the lines all the way around. Just left click. It's a little hard to see the indexing unless you zoom right in on it. Come down here to the bottom. This one, remember, we're copying these out 3 inches. Do a fit view. And then let's do a zoom window into the corner. And what we want to do is tie these two corners together using the 7-5. Extend elements to the intersection. And all you do is just left click on this line, left click on this line, and then you can pan over. Do this line, and again, I'm just holding down my shift key and my left mouse button and just pulling it down. Just have to give it a little bit of direction and then kind of hold the pressure on the mouse as you pull this out. It doesn't look like I'm moving till you kind of bring this bottom up. So there we go. Taking me forever. Well, you can see it's kind of moving a little bit slow. And we'll snap to those lines. Hold down the shift key. I had to be in the select mode for some reason there. And we'll tie those two lines together. So what we have now is the outside framework for our hockey pitch. Next, let's put in our center line. And what we want to do is I'm going to kind of zoom window to the center of the field here. And we're just going to take our smart line and let it find the center point of this line and just draw it straight across. It'll actually find the center point on the other side. This is still a 3-inch line, so what we're going to do is move the first line that we just drew up half the distance, or :1.5, and then copy it. I used 3.2 to move it. Now I'm going to use 3.1 to copy. Just left click on it, pull it down, :3. If we use our 7-2 partial delete, we can left click here, just break that line, and then use a 7-5 to just trim it back together. Zoom out a little bit, pan to the other side of the field, and we'll do the same thing. 7-2 partial delete, and then 7-5, tie the corners together. There's our center line of our field. Next, we're going to put in the 25-yard line. So we'll zoom into the upper area of the field. And what I can do is take this inner line that we drew initially and copy it up 25 yards, or actually 75 feet. So we'll take our copy tool, grab that inside line, and bring it in 75. And let's take our move tool, move that line up, :1.5, and then copy it, :3. Now the difference in this line is it's a dashed line, and we should make this dashed line probably maybe 1 foot lengths. So let's see, how can we do that? Let's take our smart line tool, and I'm going to hit my middle mouse button, set a tentative point here, hit the O button, letter O, go over 1 foot, left click, come down, :3, left click. And I want to copy that in 1 foot increments all the way across the field. I know, what a pain in the butt. But anyway, let's take our copy tool, and let's make, if it's 180 feet across, and I want to line every foot, let's put in 179 copies. under the copy box here, and just left click on this line, move it over one, and left click. And what you see now is this left a line, and I know this is going to be a little bit tedious, but we're going to take our 7-2 partial delete, and we're going to start partial deleting these all the way across. And I know it's a pain, but it'll look really nice when you get it done. Trust me. Or not. So I can go through and just kind of do all these. There's some other ways to do this too. Let's say you didn't want to do this. Okay? Let's go over here and let's just trim out this first section. We'll go to our 7, 5. We're going to trim this to this, this to this, and we're just going to make a box here. Okay? And I'm going to eliminate everything we just drew, because that would take us forever to get across there, right? So how can we do this? Let's take this box, same tool, copy, let's say 179, and I'm going to start at this point. So this is my starting point, and I want to use this as my kind of my index point. If I just left click on this, and if I move it to this point, see how it left that 1 foot gap between? Left click again, right click. That probably went way out because I I also did the oh geez, I deleted my upper lines. Let's try that again. I'm gonna put that back. Oh, you know what's funny? If you drag from right to left, you see how it picks up that line? But if you drag from left to right, it only picks up the stuff on the inside. That was something new, and they didn't really publish it and didn't tell anybody, so I kind of had to figure that one out. Actually, a student figured it out last year and said, you know, when I go from right to left, it picks up everything I cross. When I go from left to right, it works fine. So if I got a gap and I'm actually going 2 feet, half of 180 would be 90. So let's copy this one 90 times from, again, this point to this point. It should pretty well cover it. And we just went over just a little bit over here. So we can take those out. We'll go back to the other side. Come in here. I'm just going to make a gap. Use our partial delete with our 7-2. Trim this out. Okay. Now we have to put that same dashed line on the bottom. So let's take our selection tool, go left to right as we drag it. And if we come down here and just do a mirror, 3-5 is mirror on a horizontal axis about the element center, or just make copy. Click this off where it says make copy. And see how I can find this center point on this left line? Just left click there and then right click. What you'll find then is it actually duplicates that on a horizontal axis to the bottom half, and that's really all you need. So we just unselect it, and then we just have to come back to 7-2 partial delete and retrim it out. Okay, so we have the basic layout here, center lines, outside walls. Let's take a break and actually go into our sheet file and lay this out. So we're going to go from our primary model to our sheet file 11 by 17. And we want to lay this, probably we don't want to put it vertical, we want to lay it out horizontally. So let's figure out what we need to do for scale. If 1 inch equals 10 feet, and it's 300 feet long, I'd need to have 30 inches. If 1 inch equals 20 feet, I'd need 15 inches. If 1 inch equals 30 feet, I'd need 10 inches. So I think I want to put this on here at 1 inch equals 30 feet. We go to our reference tool up here on the top, and we're going to hit Attach Reference. We're going to select our, oh, we're still working in a seed file. Yeah, that's too bad. Actually, let's back up here. Let's do a File, Save As right now before we get too far along. Go to our projects directory, and we're going to call this one Project 3. We'll just clean that garbage out. CJ, and hit Save. There we go. That way it won't mess up when we reference this stuff in. So now we'll go to our reference tool, and we're going to hit Attach. We want to attach assignment or project 3. I already have an assignment 3. Yeah, I'll rename it later maybe. Call it whatever you want. And we want to go to our primary model as the model we're going to attach here. Standard view will say top, and here's where our scale is. I think we said 1 inch equals 30 feet, should be about 10 inches long, and which is 1 to 360. And see, everything else is okay. We'll just say okay, and then just place it on the screen. You can see it really fits tight. So what we're going to do now is right click on this and say rotate 90 degrees, left click, and now it's actually bringing that reference file in of that drawing of the field and rotating it 90 degrees so it fits nicely onto the paper. So there's our field hockey field. Everything looks good. It's very large, and we can go back here now, and let's just, there we go, kind of move this text around. We can rename this title by going to our Edit Text tool, and we're going to call this Field Hockey NCAA Layout. We can redo the title stuff later on. I think we got a pretty good start here on putting this together. We'll add some more notes and finish the dimensions. We can actually, let's go back and just put our goals on to finish up today. So go back to your primary model, and we'll just go in here. We know we can find a center point. So we know our goal is 12 feet wide, 4 feet deep. So there's a center point. If I just middle mouse button here and hit O, if it's 12 feet wide from overall, we just go 6 and left click. Looks like it was 6 inches. Middle mouse button, O, 6. Settings. Oh, I bet my working units went back to inches. Aha! MUSU, because I changed the name of it. Didn't do a save settings previously. My bad again. Believe it or not, I haven't been drinking today, so hit OK. File, save settings, good deal. I'm sure some of you already picked up on that. Okay, now middle mouse button, O. We go 6 feet. Now left click. We know it's going back 4 feet. And uncheck join elements again. We're going to go 12. And 4. And again, these are going to be really no lines here. This is just an outline of the goal. We need to put some marks on here. So there's going to be some marks to set the goal in place. So if I do a spacebar I right there in this intersection, come up here 1 foot. Actually, that one probably only needs to be about half a foot. So we'll say 0.5 feet and :3 and 0.5. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Actually, let's be lazy. Take this, grab the piece we just drew. We're going to do a mirror again. 3.5 is mirror. Change it to vertical and click on Make Copy. And we know we can snap to this center point. In other words, when you're mirroring something off a center axis, it's going to spread it the same distance in both directions. So if I just left click on this center point, there's our goal location. And we can actually delete this line for the goal outline. And we'll go to our 7.2 partial delete, because these are all going to be painted on lines. So we kind of want to make this shape true. And we'll just trim this out with our 7.5 tool. Sorry if I kind of rush it along. Now we need to put those on the other end. So again, we go left to right just to pick up those two little pieces. Well, I grabbed too much. There we go. If I select those and I don't want this line, just hold down the control key and left click on it, and that will either deselect a part you don't want or reselect it. We can do a fit view. You can't even hardly see those, but if we do a mirror tool, change it back to horizontal again and make copy, we can still find this center point right here. Left click and then right click. When we zoom in on this bottom area now, we're going to break that up again, and we'll break it right there and do a 7.5 and trim it out here, trim it out here. Okay, so now we've got the goal locations in place. When we come back to our sheet view, we'll see those goal locations will actually show up here on the screen. Okay, do a file, save settings one more time, and then during the next class what we're going to do is finish up with the goals. We're going to start working with those curves, which are going to be a little bit different for you. We're going to get those in place and finish up the markings and put the dimensions on here. So next time it's goals, what they call a striking circle, the penalty spots, the flag locations, and title it and get it ready to turn in. So you can look ahead to Wednesday's class and check that out if you want to get a head start on it. But for now, this is as far as we're going to get on this today. So, okay, thank you.